Hi there, welcome to Commodities, live from PDAC, the world's #1 mining show. It's great to be bringing the show live like this. Let's have a quick look at the commodity markets before we get going. We did see oil prices spiking to the highest since 2024, topping $72 US in trading today. Already US gasoline prices moving up. Of course, that's after the Israeli-US attack on Iran. The Americans saying now that they're thinking of having naval ships escort vessels through the Strait of Hormuz if necessary, but there is speculation as the conflict spreads with attacks on Gulf states that there could be serious disruptions to crude supplies. And let's have a look now at the metals, especially gold, because we have seen something of a rally in the US dollar today, and that has been helping to weaken gold. Gold, of course, briefly trading up to $5,200 US an ounce yesterday, slipping below that level in trading today. So we've seen the gold price cooling off a little bit. But of course, near record gold prices have been exciting the participants here at PDAC. Lots of eager little faces flooding down the escalators behind me. Lots of people making money, serious money at this gold price. And of course, this copper price. Here's a guy who's been around gold for quite a while, Gerald Paneton. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Andy.
You're best known for building the Detour mine, one of the biggest gold mines in the world. Agnico owns it now.
Yes, I think it's the largest one in Canada. And of course, it was a great achievement that we were able to build a mine at a good time when we had the last gold price surge from $450 to $1,900 an ounce.
That was back around 2011, you mean?
Yes,
yeah.
Just around 11 was 1900, and the mine was a great accomplishment. It's in Canada, and it's the largest mine.
200 kilometers north of Cochrane,
approximately.
Ontario. Yeah. And that one, what, production north of 700,000 ounces?
I think when I was there, we were. Our schedule was 600,000-700,000 ounces a year.
Yeah.
But I think Agnico has new plan of even getting bigger. And I think the reserve is now 25 years, and the mine has been operating for 12. So it's a great achievement altogether.
You're back, you can't stay away, so you're heading up a company called Goldterra now.
Yes.
And you would like to revive a mine in Yellowknife, the Con mine.
Yes. Yes, we got involved in Yellowknife about 6 years ago. Work about 18 months to get the deal we signed with Newmont to purchase 100% of the Con mine. And we're probably likely going to have a chance to realize this acquisition sooner than later. And I think with this, with our timeline, we could be in production within the next 3-4 years. Yellowknife, Northwest Territory, the diamond mines are closing. They're looking for some better news.
Mm-hmm. Those diamond mines are nearing the end?
Some of them have already announced they're closing this year and next year. They've been in operation for 40 years. As you know, mining is the discovery, and then you go in production, and if you don't spend more money in exploration, it goes away. Yellowknife has a tremendous potential because the Con mine was shut down in 2003 when gold was $340. Mm-hmm. So it's a very similar story to Detour, which was shut down in '98. When gold was $250. So we sometimes look at asset at a different gold price. Yeah. And with some creativity, Detour Lake was an open pit versus underground. The Con mine, we will be going back, and we're planning to go back underground. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a very good story. It's a Canadian story, and it has an impact socially, economically, for the stakeholder of Yellowknife.
And they need new mining activity in that part of the world.
I think, Canada is a resource country. Mm-hmm. We're good at it. So be supportive is a great thing.
Just explain, though, you haven't finalized the deal to buy it from Newmont?
The deal was signed 4 years ago.
Okay.
But the closing of the deal is coming close.
Why is it taking so long, though, to actually close
it? Depends. Some people like to sell right away.
Okay.
But Newmont wants to make sure that the project will be solid and the property itself will never go back to them.
Okay.
So it's a tricky situation.
Yeah.
Like when I bought Detour, the mine was 99.5% reclaimed. But before, I was announcing all those discoveries at Detour Lake, we negotiated to buy the surface right and the mining lease. Yeah. Which give you a brownfield status and in a shorter environmental permit process. Okay. Instead of 10 years, we permitted Detour in less than a year. in Ontario.
That's pretty quick.
We can repeat this. Yeah, but it's a brownfield. We're not disturbing new land.
No, that's the big thing.
So it's a very good, appealing story that can go in production much faster than a new project in the boonies.
And it's pretty rich, the grade.
The grade was spectacular. They used a cutoff grade of 10 gram. So they were mining 15 to 16 gram. It's a great opportunity because when I looked at it, I said, wow, they left a lot. And I know that they shut the mine for the wrong reason. It could have stayed on. There was reserve, 650,000 ounces left in the mine. But they wanted to go, Miramar at the time, wanted to go and work in Hope Bay Belt, a project that is more remote and was very difficult to develop. You could find a lot of ounces. You know, I've been on deposit sometime up to 50 million ounces of gold. And because there's no infrastructures, it's still in the ground.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Infrastructures are important.
But this con mine, it's so close to Yellowknife. It played a big role in the growth of Yellowknife.
1938. The city of Yellowknife exists because of the con mine, which opened in the 30s.
But it's so close. Isn't that going to be complicated? Won't residents object to your trucks coming in and out?
No, there's no planning of trucks going through town. And we already have 2/3 of a bypass going around town that we just need to complete.
Okay.
We are, building a mine is about looking for the stakeholder, and you're a guest, they're your host, and you need to be there and listening to their concern.
Now, what kind of production are you thinking about from this con mine?
Well, so far, currently what we're presenting, which could be probably public by the end of the year, we're contemplating 2,000 tons per day, 120,000 ounces a year, and probably in production for 25 years.
150,000 initially, anyway.
120 to 140,000 ounces a year.
Yeah.
It's a smaller mine.
Gerald, thanks. It's great to see you again.
Thank you so much.
Gerald Panaton, of Gold Terra. Right, after this, we are talking lithium and rare earths with the CEO of PMET. They are working on a project in Quebec. We'll be right back. BNN Bloomberg live at PDAC, the World Mining Jamboree. Lots of buzz in the air with gold north of $5,000 US. Also lots of buzz about governments pouring money into these so-called critical minerals, including lithium and also the famous rare earths and copper. So we spoke to the CEO of PMET Resources. They are working on a plan to build a lithium mine with rare earths in Quebec. And we started off by asking Ken Brindle about the actual deposit he's working with.
Our Shakajuanan project is a remarkable discovery. Per your intro, a confluence of scale and grade in lithium, cesium and tantalum. It really is a rare find, and we're very pleased to be able to continue to progress our project down the development pipeline.
And you yourself, we can tell from the accent, you've got an Aussie connection. You've worked on lithium mining, hard rock mining of lithium in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. My former company, Pilbara Minerals, now PLS, and a very large player in the hard rock lithium industry. And the connection comes about because in my period of time working at Pilbara Minerals, we started to get exposed to the early stages of the discovery at our Shakajuanan project. And it was remarkable. So I couldn't help but follow it, Andy. I'm pleased to be involved.
So the Australian company had a stake in PMET, or how did that work?
Well, not at that time.
Okay.
But a general interest in what was happening in the lithium world, including in Quebec and in Canada more broadly. So that's where the original interest came from.
So your project is not that remote. You've got lots of Hydro-Quebec infrastructure, for example. What kind of capex, roughly, do you think you're looking at here?
In our feasibility study of late last year, we announced the first round of capex being approximately 950 million Canadian dollars. but it's a big lithium mine. In the lithium world, if you're producing, like in our stage 1, 400,000 tonnes per annum, in stage 2, 800,000 tonnes per annum, you would readily be in the top 5 producers globally. So,
including the brine or hard rock?
With reference to the hard rock world.
Okay.
Perhaps the bit that's a little bit unique about the Shakajuanan project is the co-product opportunity, which we believe will ultimately be an important part of our product offering. You mentioned the rare earths and the critical minerals world. Well, at Shakajuanan, we've got all 3 on display, 3 critical minerals: lithium, cesium, and tantalum. And we think that's an important part of the value proposition in the development opportunity at our project.
What is cesium used for? I know it plays a role sometimes in atomic clocks for people who like to be punctual, but what else is it used for?
Of course, yeah. Well, cesium's a really important critical mineral, the first part of which is in industrial applications. The oil and gas industry, the catalysts industry, and a little bit about the pharmaceuticals industry. And yes, high value products that make their way into things like solar, GPS, medical imaging. And in the end, our discovery is enormous. It's breaking the record books. So far, 2.4 million tonnes of pollucite mineralisation, pollucite hosting the cesium. That's a big one. In fact, unparalleled globally.
And then tantalum, what's that used for? Can you remind us?
Of course, tantalum is a really important part of the electronics industry. It's a very important tool for the purpose of capacitance. And how's that linked to today's world? Well, things like mobile devices, data centres would be good examples. So demand for tantalum, especially in the last 12 or 18 months, has been starting to pick up. Pricing's been appreciating. It's also another important co-product at Shakajuanan.
How far away are you from building a mine? When would you hope to actually be in production?
Whilst the discovery was only late 2021, we're now 3.5 years into the mine authorisation process. And our assumption is we've got approximately 18 months to 2 years to go. What does that mean? Well, we should be receiving our mine authorisation in the latter part of next year, so second half of 2027, at which time we'd be making a decision to commence construction and finalising our financing. So it's not too far away.
What about infrastructure? Well, no, we talked about infrastructure. What about processing? Will you process the lithium on site, or how will that work?
The physical concentrates, the spodumene concentrate, the concentrate that contains cesium, the concentrate that contains tantalum, they're all developed at a site level. From there, the concentrate is transported downstream. Our expectation is that the chemical industry continues to grow, and particularly when you have a very large-scale, long-life asset like that ours represents, it inspires further development in Western supply chains to build out the chemical capacity. We have plenty of conversation going on in that regard.
Obviously governments are anxious to secure supplies of these metals. Have you had any investment from any level of government at this stage?
Well, not directly, but certainly some very constructive conversations going on. Where we have had really important investment is from within the industry itself.
Right.
So from our point of view, important shareholdings, Volkswagen Group, who owns approximately 10% of our shares.
Volkswagen, yep.
Yeah, Volkswagen is a big player in the EV world. And then also Albemarle, who is a player in the lithium industry.
A global player in lithium.
Exactly. So yeah, they're important shareholders.
Albemarle is at 4% or something?
4.5%.
Right,
yeah.
And where is Volkswagen in terms of?
9.9%.
Right, yeah. And of course they're working on a giant battery factory in Canada.
Exactly. Yeah. So we feel that we will be an important part of their future supply chain.
Ken, thanks very much indeed.
My pleasure, Andy. Thank you.
Ken Brinsden is the CEO of PMET Resources. It's Commodities at PDAC, the world's #1 mining show. We'll be right back, and we're going to be talking to the BC mining industry. Right now, there's 18 major mines in that province, but there are big plans for expansion. You are watching BNN Bloomberg live at PDAC. We're back, BNN Bloomberg live at PDAC, the world's #1 mining get-together. Now, we've already talked on the show today about projects in Yellowknife and in Quebec. Let's take a look at BC, a mining powerhouse. We heard from the CEO of the BC Mining Association. We started off by asking, how many mines does the province actually have in operation right now?
That's correct. 18 major mines and 2 world-class smelters currently.
One in Kitimat and then one at Trail, BC.
Yes, we have a Rio Tinto's aluminum smelter in Kitimat and Teck's lead zinc smelter in Trail.
Yeah. Why did the aluminum smelter go there? Is it availability of electricity?
Back in the 1950s, lots of good low-cost power. Yeah.
So the big plans to grow, BC has for quite a while been trying to speed up mining approvals. What kind of growth do you see in the next few years?
Well, west of the Rockies, there's good news. Change is afoot. Government has been very focused on accelerating permitting, and happy to say progress is being made. There's still more work to do, but there has been progress. Just in this calendar year, in 2026, we've seen 3 mines receive permits.
What are those? Can you remind us?
Yeah, that is Skeena Gold and Silver's Eskay Creek, Centerra's Mount Milligan project, and just recently Hudbay's Copper Mountain mine. So lots on the go right now.
Is copper the big mineral produced in BC, or is gold bigger?
By volume, it's copper right now. British Columbia is Canada's largest copper producer.
Right, some giant mines there, including Teck's Highland Valley, for example.
Largest mine in Canada, currently, yeah.
What it can be, I mean, up in the north, the famous Golden Triangle, it's tricky. There's still a lot of infrastructure to build.
There is infrastructure to build. The government of BC, I think, has really wrapped its arms around mining as a critical industry for British Columbia's economic future. So kind of further to that, they have made the commitment, and I believe will start construction on the North Coast transmission line, which will run a new transmission from Prince George and then up into the Golden Triangle.
Roads, though, too, will have to be built.
Roads will have to be built, but the federal government and provincial government put $200 million into roads about 2 years ago, so those are under development now. So frankly, there is mine development that can take place in the absence of both that electricity infrastructure and the roads, but those 2 things will cement further development, and there's a lot of projects that are on the go up in the Golden Triangle.
It can be a complex issue engaging the Indigenous communities. Sometimes we get overlapping claims, for example, on a piece of land.
Yes, you can. What you have in the Golden Triangle is the Tahltan Nation and the Nisga'a Nation, and both are keen on mining. The Tahltan, of course, the Tahltan Nation Development Corp does about $100 million per year in providing supplies and services to the 2 operating mines in their territory right now. So it's really a matter of ensuring, if you're a developer, that you are working closely, that you have a good partnership, and that you're moving at pace and scale with the Tahltan to ensure that you're going to get through the regulatory process in a timely way.
What about these much ballyhooed rare earths? Do you have much along those lines?
We have one fantastic rare earth project in British Columbia. That's Defense Metals' Wichita project, just east of Prince George. They were actually just recently invited into the provincial government's critical minerals office. That Wichita project, Surge Copper's Berg project, and North Isle Copper and Gold's projects, those 3 are now in the CMO. The CMO is there to really de-risk projects before they move into the regulatory process.
Sorry, what's CMO again?
Sorry, Critical Minerals Office.
Oh yeah, that's the provincial one.
That's a provincial office, yeah. And it's really set up to bring critical mineral projects in prior to the regulatory process. And the concept is really about de-risking and bringing together nations and stakeholders kind of around the table for each project before they move into the environmental assessment process. So it's really about accelerating permitting at the end of the day.
It's a huge goods export for BC. Can you give us an idea, if you were to compare the forest sector and the mining sector, are they comparable, or is one much bigger than the other?
British Columbia's forest sector has always been the largest contributor to British Columbia's gross domestic product, no question. However, in recent years, British Columbia's forest sector has hit hard times.
Oh, yeah.
So mining is really starting to come along. I couldn't tell you if we supersede forestry's GDP at the moment, but right now we're essentially, it's an industry that contributes about 8 billion in GDP
to the province,
to the provincial economy. We did some 18 billion in economic activity several years ago, but really, it's really about looking forward right now. We did a study back in last May where we have 27 critical mineral, precious metal, and steel-making coal projects on the books. All of them are in various stages of advanced development. It's about 42 billion in CapEx for just the construction of those projects alone. So really a huge once-in-a-generation opportunity for British Columbia, and I think really underscores the investment potential in BC as a partner in Confederation. When we have a really strong mining in Quebec and Ontario, BC's always been a global mining jurisdiction, but it's really now starting to come back. We've got a lot of attention from government. As I said, still more to do with accelerating permitting, but I'm really looking forward to see where we're going to be in 18, 36 months. I think we're going to really start to see a much more accelerated permitting process.
Michael, thank you very much.
Very good, thank you.
Michael Goring, CEO of the BC Mining Association. It's BNN Bloomberg at PDAC, the world's #1 mining show. We're wrapping things up here with our BNN Bloomberg live coverage of PDAC. It's been another fun year at the world's #1 mining show. More than 37,000 people expected to attend from, I think this is incredible, more than 120 countries. You walk the floor here. Mongolia is here, numerous African countries. The Europeans are here in force. And of course, there's people from all over North America and jurisdictions. Incredible, more than 37,000 and thousands, more than 1,300 exhibitors. And certainly there is a buzz in the air with gold near record highs and copper strong and governments falling over themselves to secure supplies of metals. Thanks very much for watching this special edition of Commodities. We'll be back in our usual location tomorrow. I'm going to hand you over to the close. It's up next.